our goal for this project was to canvass transit stops near the El Cerrito del Norte BART station on Wednesday between 4 and 5 p.m. And we wanted to know which stops were the busiest. And we noticed that there is data on busyness on Google Maps. And it's not comparing stops to other stops, unfortunately, but it's comparing stops to how busy they typically are that day, with 100 being the busiest and 0 being the least busy. And so we were able to generate this prioritized list of stops with the cross street stop number, address, Google Maps code, so a user can just click on this and on their phone and just immediately open the map to it. Lat long, in case we wanted to do something with that, and then the busyness percentile for that stop on Wednesday at 4, Wednesday at 5, and then the walking distance from El Cerrito BART. So there were several pieces to how to do this, besides only the last of which was this intimidating function, which AI totally helped me write. So the first piece was getting the Google Maps data programmatically with no code, because I am really not a coder. So that was Apify, a wonderful no-code tool that has a pre-made Google Maps scraper. Now, if you're technical, you can build your own actors with, I think, Python or different languages on this thing, but I cannot. So I just got a pre-made Google Maps scraper. Literally, all I have to do is put in bus stops near El Cerrito del Norte, and then to say I want the zoom level to be 20, which is quite zoomed in, because otherwise it won't get all the stops. Because you know how when you zoom in on Google Maps, the more places appear, the more zoomed in you are. So if it's not super zoomed in, like at least 18 or something, I did 20 to be safe. It's not going to get all of bus stops. And you can see the results right here. Actually, it took quite a while. In fact, I think this thing is still running. Yeah, it's actually still running. And this is actually, I haven't even gone through my $5 of free usage per month. I don't know why the decimal point just moved there, but it's been running for several hours because this is very, very granular. It's getting a lot of data, basically getting all the bus stops in the northern AC transit area. It's 587 so far, which is pretty cool because then we can reuse this data set. We'd have to maybe do this again if we wanted to get Berkeley, Oakland and stuff, but this is pretty much good for the whole northern part. And so I was trying to get close to here, so the closest one's to this. So how did I get this data out of here and into a nice little sheet? So there's a couple other tools. This next one probably wasn't totally necessary, but it's just convenient because it's something that I know how to use and it's just kind of cool. So Apify has an integration with this tool. It's called make.com, formerly Integromat, right here. It's like Zapier, but it's more intense, shall we say. But it's still affordable for like non-enterprise users. So it's a low-code, no-code automation platform, and it just has these little visual modules that you can link together and make sequences of things happen. It also has a great community where I got a solution here that allowed this to only use 3 operations, which is how you build instead of like hundreds of operations. So this is also very, very cheap, like fraction penny this. Okay, so first thing is we grab all the bus stop data from that particular Apify run, and all we do is we go to that run, we grab its link, and you do that by going export results and then copy link, taking a second, but there will be a little button that pops up. It says copy link. It's taking too long, but you grab that link and you grab the ID, and the dataset ID is this part. Because I wanted this to be really user friendly and not have to even bother copying and pasting it, I just wrote a little make function to get that. So this is splitting this at every slash mark, and it's getting the 5th chunk of text after the slash, which is this part right here. It's the ID. And I didn't change anything else but this module, just ran it. And what it's going to output is this very long list of bus stops with all of the data that we need and plenty of the data that we do not need. So hundreds and hundreds of them. To avoid having hundreds and hundreds of operations by passing each result to the Google Sheet as a separate row, which is what would have happened, I've only done one operation. And this is where I used the wonderful Make community and this other user solution, which is to take this text aggregator module and simply aggregate all of the things that I need, not the ones that I don't. So that's the cross streets, that's the stop number. And actually, I'm splitting the stop number because it says stop ID number, and I just wanted the number, so I split that out. The address, the plus, all those things that you saw in the spreadsheet, right? And crucially, the popular times histogram. I don't want all of the popular times because what actually comes out when I look at these is all of the popular times. I don't need that because it's a huge array of data. And so I literally just use this function. This is why I use make, is because it has these handy little functions for working with arrays that are maybe a little bit harder to do in a spreadsheet. So it's mapping this array. It's saying I want 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in military time there in the popular times histogram for Wednesday only, popular times Wednesday. And I want the occupancy percent. I want to filter it by hour. And I want hour 16, hour 17, 4 and 5 p.m. And I want the second result there. And here I'm getting the first result. So that's what's getting me these two columns, right? The 4 p.m. time and the 5 p.m. time from that array of popular times. So it's just nice and clean. So otherwise, if you just put this straight into a spreadsheet from Apify, it's every possible hour of every possible day and the occupancy percent. So it's just a bewildering array of numbers that's quite annoying to work with in the spreadsheet. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to pre-process this data a little bit, and then I'm going to dump it in there. And instead of the out of the box add a row module, I'm relying on this other user who's smarter than me who figured out how to do a custom API call to the thing. So anything that doesn't come out of the box in Make, like this type of module, you can make custom API calls as well. So if you read the API docs and you know how to figure that out, code a little bit, you can do pretty much any API call to anything that has like an API. So I didn't make any of this. I just took it from the forum, and all this JSON or whatever was already pre-made for me. And all I had to do is insert my little text from the aggregator into it. And with one single operation, I got hundreds and hundreds of rows here. Filters, you can see how darn many there are. Some of them have nulls, so there's some nulls in there. And some of them are quite far from BART station. Now, far from the BART station, that did not come from Apify. This actually came from another thing that I got off the internet. It's a custom function called Google Maps duration from El Cerrito del Norte to whatever the value is in D2, which in this case is that little Google Maps Plus code. And our method of transportation is walking. So this is going to query Google Maps and pull the data in, but it's going to pull it in a weird format like 1 hour 2 mins. So I had to replace all of that text, regex replace, get rid of any hour or minute text in there, split the numbers out into an array, pick them out of the array, get the value, do some conditionality if it has an hour in it, then do this. If it doesn't, do the other thing. So this long function just gets me the time in minutes, whether it's more than an hour or just a single minute. How did I get the Google Apps script? I think I cited it over here. I should probably put that on the sheet we're actually using as well, because this is an earlier version of the sheet that I can zoom in enough on the maps like I was showing you. And so I got a bunch of stops, but they weren't the right ones. Just read this over. That's not hidden on this unused sheet. Documentation. So that's where I got that from. Nice little Google Apps script. And literally all you do to make that happen is you go to app script and extensions and you paste whatever they tell you to do on the internet. And you save it, and then you use custom functions, right? This one literally just says, I don't even understand most of this stuff, but I just pasted in what they told me. And then type Google Maps distance and it calls this function. It does all these things, whatever it's doing. I don't know. I don't need to know, because it works, and I can sanity check it against Google Maps manually. In fact, I can check it right here because these are the bus stops at the station itself, and they are all the closest ones because they are the BART station. And slightly farther away, this all makes sense. We're still different bays of the BART station. These are San Pablo, that's right around where it is. So this all makes sense. We can sanity check it without even looking at Google Maps. So this all seems to be correct. Now, the last piece, just so that the user doesn't have to, or the Canvas director or whoever's organizing this doesn't have to like manually comb through and be like, oh, these are pretty close, but this one, that's a high occupancy percent, but that's not, and try to get them. So I just made a filter view. So I just created a filter view, and I said, and you could do different ones too, right? You could, like I did initially like 20, let's do this one, less than 15-minute walk over 30% busy. Or it's not really 30%, it's 30 busyness percentile. Okay, so we're going to say, actually, we're going to use this one. I could write a custom function to filter by, but I actually need to get rid of the nulls and then do the greater than 30 part. So the way I did it, it's sloppy, but first I did is not empty, because the ones that are null, they're always null on both of them, on both the 4 o'clock and the 5 o'clock. Google just doesn't take that data for this particular stop. So there we go. The nulls are all gone. Now I can filter this one by values, say numeric greater than or equal to 30. And I had to make sure these columns were formatted as numbers because they actually came in formatted as text. So I just switched that up here and took away the extra zeros. Didn't work before, so just a word to the wise. And the same here. This is why I'm doing this value thing. That's making sure it's a number. All right, so I've got that. Just to demonstrate, you can also filter this by less than or equal to, and let's call it 15-minute walk. That's going to take away some ones that are useful and we probably actually do want to go to. But if you wanted to really narrow it down less, that would be these guys. So it's under the data menu. So I can select one of these, give you a couple options there that the user can have out of the box, but now you know how to make it yourself. And I am so happy to hop on a call and nerd out with you and help train folks on this type of thing. And I'd love to learn too, because I'm a beginner to intermediate of this stuff, and I love learning from more technical people, other cool ways to do things. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful. We'll see if it actually works in the field. battle tested. We'll hear back from the canvas today. More on that soon. All right. This was fun. See you.